Bose at Restocks, explained in English. In the beginning of June, the YouTube channel Bose published a series about a confrontation with the Dutch sneaker marketplace Restocks. Bose is a series that chases justice and reveals things such as public sex scandals, scams, company frauds, etc. A lot of people ask Bose to visit Restocks, as the company still owes a lot of people money across Europe. Payout terms are exceeding 6 months after making a sale at the moment of this video. For the people that are not familiar with how Restocks works, a private seller can sell shoes via Restocks. The customer buys it, Restocks then sends the shoe to the customer. After that, Restocks should pay the seller. Before we start with the video, we want to let you know that we are not making this video in order to harm Restocks in any way. There are still hundreds, if not thousands of people in Europe that are still waiting for their payouts. We think it's important to report and translate to the international community what is being told in this episode, as they speak Dutch. So the video begins with Kim. She sent a letter to Bose and asked them to help her get her money back. The amount that Kim still needs to receive from Restocks is €1,076, all for shoes sold in December 2022. She knew it would take longer and she was okay with that, but after 2 months, there still wasn't any money in her bank account. She contacted Restocks and they told her numerous times that the money was on its way, but in reality, it wasn't. The presenter is called Tim Hoffman, and he tells that they received a lot of emails in the past few years about Restocks. In total, he received 124 complaints about Restocks. Almost all the complaints were about missing payouts. 51 emails received in 2023. He accumulated the open amounts and it's totaled a little over €116,000. They placed a message on Facebook and a lot of people were responding to it. Remarkably, after this message, a lot of people suddenly received their money from Restocks. Here, they introduce the owner and quote that they have sold over €25 million in 2020. He claims that last year, the sales exceeded even €100 million. They researched the finances of Restocks and found out that they had negative equity of €7.2 million and €11.4 million in debts in 2021. They explain the debts and tell that Restock claims that the debt is caused by the increase in transportation and labor costs. Debts are normal for companies of this size, but it always depends on the cause of the debts and who the debtors are. If their debt is caused by a loan from a bank, for example, it's a healthy debt. If the debtors consist of sellers on their platform, then they potentially have a big problem. Ho, ho, ho! Hold your horses! We plug a lot of people, but this is something that even we can't do. Hit that subscribe button and plug yourself with the most diverse and interesting sneaker content there is. And now, back to the video. They are going to the office of Restocks and hoping to talk to Fuad, the owner of Restocks. They arrive at the company, but people won't let them in. After a while, they found someone who opened the door and are allowed in the office. Fuad, the owner, walks into the waiting room and is open for a conversation. The CEO tells that he feels a bit of anxiety because of the impact of the series, the current state of the company, and everything that has happened. He tells they experienced extreme growth in 2022 and leveled up labor to 140 people and have had a revenue of approximately €150 million. However, he acknowledged that certain processes weren't organized sufficiently. Therefore, they had no control over the expenses. Fuad claims that the payment system was aged and not ready for the growth they experienced. He tells that some sellers even got paid double, and some sellers who hadn't sold anything were paid as well. In December 2022, they introduced their new payment system and started to onboard the Dutch sellers. At the moment of the video, 60% of the Dutch sellers are onboarded and paid out, and they are busy onboarding the remaining 40% of them. The presenter asked the CEO to translate this story to money. He asked him directly what the total damage is, but Fuad says he cannot tell that. At first he says he doesn't know, so Tim starts to criticize him, asking questions such as, how does the CEO not know the cash flow of the company? You must be able to give an estimation. The CEO acts rather anxiously and tells that he doesn't want to share the precise numbers. Restocks has investors and shareholders, and he acts on behalf of them as well. Tim asked him if the shareholders and investors know about the situation, and CEO Fawad says that they know. They are aware of the problems in the company and the mismanagement in the last period. They made a clear strategy on how to pay all open payouts to sellers. But except from their new payment system, he is not sharing how to solve this problem from happening in the future. And that is a bit strange in my opinion, because that would be some useful information that would help sellers on the platform gain back trust in Restocks. What a missed chance for the CEO. Are they really as trustworthy as they appear? Tim grabs his paperwork and shows the list of sellers that still owe money from Restocks. The CEO looks ashamed and says that the sellers are paid out on a daily basis in order to solve the problem. He is questioned if the company will go bankrupt, and Fawad answers with a convincing no. The CEO is being confronted with the fact that the payout time has a limit of 40 days max, if you look at their website, while it takes about 6 months. Tim asked Fawad to change this to 3 to 6 months on the website. The CEO acknowledges that he will implement the changes into their payout policy. Also, he shows him the lists and asks if he has the funds to pay the sellers. Fawad acknowledges that he has the money and asks for a list of emails. He promised that all the sellers on the list will be paid within 2 weeks' time. Now is the big thing. They open an email address called bose@restocks.net. Everyone who emails this address gets their payout in 2 weeks and is what they agreed on. It is possible that this is only for Dutch resellers as it's a Dutch show, but just take a shot. They give him a photo frame with the text, literally translated from Dutch, "Put your own problems in your own shoes." Fawad is posing with the photo frame and it looks a bit silly, to be honest. They close the episode and conclude that there are risks when you're dealing with Restocks. They do have debts. They still have overdue payments. The new annual financial report of 2022 is not public yet, and it can still take 3 to 6 months before you get your money. In the comments of the episode, there are a lot of people showing compassion for Fawad as he looks like a very friendly guy who just made a mistake. Some people say that they are disappointed in the show and that Restocks doesn't deserve this. He sure is a friendly guy, but on the other hand, Restocks can potentially be one big Ponzi scheme. The only thing they need to do is to reserve the money that belongs to the seller and pay it out. But in the episode, he just told us that the debts are caused by increasing expenses. Therefore, it is safe to assume that there's a possibility that their expenses have been paid with the money that actually belongs to the sellers. And that also means that the old orders are being paid out with new money, derived from new sales, so from new sellers. We're not saying this is a deliberate Ponzi scheme. We also don't claim this to be a fraud. But a lot of people are being positive about a company that still owes millions to private people, and that gives me the creeps. That's about it. I hope this video made clear to the international sellers on the Restocks platform what we have going on here. Always be on the lookout. They do look like a trustworthy company, but it can be risky to sell via their marketplace. They recently put a statement on their website about the visit of Bose. We will add a link in the description of this video so that you can read their side of the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we will publish more interesting sneaker content very soon. Ciao!